the experience just keeps getting hot.
Radio D Hotties, the best and hottest Indian radio network in the entire world.
Mahima Creations.
Proudly present Premier Evening Drive Time Show. Bam Bam!
Yes, you heard it right.
Bam Bam! Every
Monday,
Tuesday,
Wednesday,
Thursday,
Friday. Let's beat the traffic.
Bam Bam!
नमस्कार
नमस्ते.
नमस्कार
वणक्कम.
खुशामदीद
अस्सलाम वालेकुम.
सत श्री अकाल
मी गंदगी वंदनम.
जय स्वामी नारायण
जय श्री कृष्ण.
जिनेंद्र राव
बस माली भाई बंधुओं को बोलते हैं क्या मदद.
मोलाली मदद बोलते सारी फीजिए मंत्र को बोलेंगे नीसा बुल्ला बड़जन हम आ गए हैं आपके प्यारे महिमा के द्वारा मैं से फालतू बाबू
And of course, myself फालतू रानी लेकर आप and मेरे साथ है of course
आपकी फेवरेट इंटर्न प्राची.
ओह नाइस फेवरेट इंटर्न बना दी तो ऑलरेडी आम बातें बोल जाए
सीख गए
सीख गए
Yes.
सिखाने के लिए हम बैठे हैं ना आप भी सही
Yes.
फालतू रानी जी एंड ऑफ कोर्स आपको बोलते आज मिस्ट्री मंडेज में वी गोना ब्रिंग वन मोर इंटरेस्टिंग मिस्ट्री योर वे
Dun, dun, dun.
हम पैरानॉर्मल लेके आए, हम अब नॉर्मल भी लेके आए, हम क्या लास्ट वीक क्या था मैं भूल गई. हाँ वे हमने मिस्टीरियस सस्पिशियस प्रेजेंस या सस्पिशियस केस ऑफ लाल बहादुर शास्त्री साहब भी लेके आए आपके लिए. उनका क्या हुआ था, कैसे चले गए. फिर उसके बाद हम लोग लेके आए एक और पॉलिटिकली मोटिवेटेड असैसिनेशन के बारे में हम
Mystery
लोग
man.
मिस्ट्री मैन मंडेज वैसे हम लोग लेके आए. द हु वाज द ताशकेंट मैन दैट वाज आर नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र बोस. आज बुनिजान पॉलिटिकली मोटिवेटेड नहीं लेकिन पैसा मोटिवेटेड मोस्टली
But definitely a politically charged kind of
या
case, Panajan.
हाँ एक
If you're
ऐसा
wondering what is this case all about, Faldani, you want to tell everyone what's this case all
you
about?
tell Alto Baba.
It is actually the suspicious case of, you know who, Faldani?
Who?
Sunanda Pushkar.
Ba 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 do.
Yeah, Panajan, if you're wondering who Sunanda Pushkar is, हम आपको अभी एक फोटो दिखाएंगे उनका. ये ऑलरेडी है वहाँ पे ऑन द स्क्रीन पे. दिस इज सुनंदा पुष्कर. एंड अगर आप रिकॉग्नाइज कर पाओगे कि हु इज दिस पर्टिकुलर पर्सन नेक्स्ट टू सुनंदा पुष्कर, दिस इज द वॉकिंग टॉकिंग thesaurus, which the Britishers forgot to they should take him gone along with them, but they forgot to take him and go. This is Shashi Tharoor.
That's preposterous.
Exactly, preposterous. Right? And of course, आज we're talking about this curious case of Sunanda Pushkar.
It's a suspicious death of Sunanda Pushkar.
The suspicious case of Sunanda, or death बोल रही है फालतूनी.
Yeah.
Yes.
एंड इसके बारे में और जानकारी देने के लिए हम लोग रेडी हैं. हमारी इंटर्न भी रेडी हैं. शी इज रेडी विद ऑल द फैक्ट्स फिक्शन which you want to
All
call
fiction,
no
only
she's
facts.
got all the facts which Shashi Tharoor calls fiction,
Yes.
right? उनके हिसाब से फिक्शन था ही वो, right?
Yes.
एंड व्हाई व्हाट एवरीथिंग डील देने के लिए हमारा टीम यहाँ मौजूद है आपके लिए. हियर यू गो. तो फादर टेक इट अवे.
Alrighty. So, to start off with some background info on who this person is.
Who is Sunanda Pushkar
Who
Banjan
is
and
she?
why should you care?
Why should you care?
Well, you know, you've always seen her, or you must have seen her with Shashi Tharoor because they were married. Coincidentally, we just noticed this. If she were alive today, tomorrow would have been her birthday. She was born June 27th, 1962.
We didn't just notice it. It was meant to happen.
It was.
Something
It was.
came into my mind
Yes.
and came into our minds while we were planning the show. Banjan, we had many different mystery topics
Yeah.
that we put together, but this was the one that
It's
we
called us.
zeroed in on, so to
Yeah.
speak. And this we decided that कि ये आपके सामने पेश करना है because it behooves us कि हम आपके सामने सच जितने जो भी facts of the matter है पेश करें. And कैसे I mean it is baffling to figure out कि how is it that somebody got away
Yeah.
with the fact I mean completely got a clean chit that he had
Clean
nothing to
slate.
do with it. When he was there on the spot, when he
At
was
the
the one who
scene.
reported her, he was at the scene.
Yes.
He was the one who reported the death,
Yes.
and he had no other alibi for the time of death. And well, this is what we're going to talk about today, and why it took so long, how he just got away with it. And he says it was sheer torture.
Torture.
And he
You're
says,
preposterous.
and he
This
says a lot of
nightmare.
yeah, and he got anticipatory bail, never spent time in prison.
Ah.
How? Just because he's a politician, Congress party ke?
Ugh.
Yeah, so well, let's go back. Let's go back in time, and
let's
today
rewind.
let's
And of
revive.
course, Manisha ji on Facebook saying he walks free. Of course, he's a free
Of
man.
course.
Of course he
And he
is.
goes to Oxford, other places, giving lectures about how
Yeah,
the Britishers have
preposterous.
taken all the, riches from here, and he's asking for repatriation.
Yes.
Huh?
Repatriation. I'm sorry.
You
I
mean
sometimes use
reparations?
you know
mean
difficult words.
reparations?
Well, I actually
Huh?
use.
reparations.
Well,
it's not
excuse-
repatriation.
Excuse me.
That's
I
exactly
sometimes.
Reparations.
Excuse me. Would you guys listen to me? I sometimes use difficult words just to sound photosynthetic.
What? What is photosynthetic? What is photosynthetic?
I use tough, confusing words.
Someone
to
knows
sound
Just to
photosynthetic.
sound like you
Photosynthetic.
are taking energy from the sun and processing it as energy.
I didn't say that.
That is what
Photosynthetic.
photosynthesis is.
That's your understanding. That is your understanding problem.
Okay.
My
so-
mathematics is very clear in this case. I always make sure I use nice, tough, difficult words so that I can sound, photogenic also.
Oh God!
I'm not Shashi Tharoor, by the way. If I was, I wouldn't have rejected that bail.
Okay, so a little background info on who this person is. She was an Indian-born Canadian businesswoman. Of course, being the former wife of international diplomat Shashi Tharoor, she was a sales director in a Dubai-based Techcom investments company, co-owner of Rendezvous Sports World, which is a cricket franchise in the IPL, and she was the daughter of a Lieutenant Colonel Pushkar Das, Nath Das, and Jaya Das. And this is where Shashi Tharoor comes into play. In October of 2009, she met Shashi Tharoor at a party, and he arrived with his wife in Dubai. And
Ooh.
2 years prior to that, he was a married man.
Oh, wow.
However, they got divorced eventually. And
Yeah,
then,
because he started up an affair with this woman.
Yeah.
What? Hello.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
What do you
with,
mean?
With Sunanda Pushkar, he is known to be a ladies' man. He's known to be a person who has an eye for the ladies, and just
Even
look
though I
at
don't know
that smug
how.
smile on his face.
I don't know how he's a ladies' man, but okay.
Well,
I don't know.
All kinds of suckers in the world.
That's true. So they got married in 2010.
Yeah.
So let's see. A bit of a business career background on her.
Mm-hmm.
She is actually a Kashmiri Pandit.
Mm-hmm.
And so her first job was actually in Kashmir. It was a desk receptionist at the Centaur Lakeview Hotel in Srinagar.
Mm-hmm.
And she went on to eventually moving to Dubai, where she started an event management business called Expressions. Then she joined a company called Boswell Prime Advertising as a marketing manager. Eventually, she decided to open up her own businesses, and she started an artificial jewelry company in Dubai called Ravissant Trading. However, after a while, she did have to emigrate to Canada in 1990 because of some personal reasons regarding her son's health. And there, she became a partner in an IT firm called Valley Resources, which she got into because one of her friends introduced her to a San Francisco-based CEO of this company, and she eventually got into the company, but it closed after 9/11. So eventually she did a course in emotional intelligence, and she joined a company called Noble House International, and then she later rejoined Techcom Investments to work on the International Media Production Zone. So So that's a bit about how she's been, how she gets the title of a businesswoman / entrepreneur. And eventually, she started dating Shashi Tharoor. And then she started getting media attention because of that.
Media attention or media tension?
Media attention.
Okay.
Media attention because of that. And eventually, she got into IPL in cricket. And it states that she had been given a sweat equity worth of 700 million rupees in Rendezvous Sports World.
What? 700 and what million rupees?
700 million rupees.
700 million rupees.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Woo! So the company was founded in 2009, and
Is that 700 crores?
Yeah. Sweat equity.
That is sweat equity.
1 million is 10
Dang.
crores, right?
But wasn't this the company in which there was purported the proxy?
yes.
Yeah, so ye kya tha Banujan, us time pe there was this situation where Shashi Tharoor was in power, meaning he was an elected official, and elected officials technically are not supposed to take any bribes, right?
Technically.
Technically.
See, technically you're talking all these things.
India में वो conflict of interest clause है क्या? I don't know if it's as applicable, but I was just probably which year was this again? 2000?
So the company itself was founded in 2009.
No, I'm talking about when he got the sweat equity in it.
That was around the same time the company was founded.
Yeah, so he was in power at that time. He was a minister at that time, right?
Yes.
And उस time पे क्या होता था? A lot of it still happens, Banuja, where they'll take जो बेनामी पैसा है या जो भी controlling stakes हैं, अगर आपको shares लेना है या पैसे लेने हैं, उनके spouse के नाम पे लेते थे, या कोई चाचा चाची नाना नानी, there'll be some people, यहाँ पे भी आप जब देखते हो, there's a lot of houses here lying in investment की तरह बहुत सारे land में invest करके बैठे हैं लोग. A lot of that is benami money. It's not necessarily ki it's like, they just put the money here, they parked it here ताकि उनको tax ना लगे और दूसरी चीज उनके नाम पे ना दिखाई दे, right?
Yeah.
So this is what he supposedly did, and he got caught for it, right?
He did?
He did, because they came to know that she was just a proxy for him.
Yeah.
It was actually Shashi Tharoor who was given that 700 crore whatever.
700 million rupees, yeah.
Yeah, that particular amount was given to him, right? In that company stake. Aage badhiye.
Yeah, and these allegations actually came just 18 days before the IPL bid, and eventually all of this controversy led to him having to resign as a minister, and she tried to defend him, and it states that she said because that she had been invited to join the Rendezvous because of her extensive international experience as a business executive, marketing manager, and entrepreneur. So she was trying to cover up and say like, oh no, he didn't really do what he did with the money. So that was one, kind of bump in the road with things with them.
But didn't he resign?
Yes, he did resign.
Why? Why did he resign?
When all of this, all of these like proxy allegations came up for him, it was actually during an election period, and so because of the bad press and all the attention it was getting,
Party pressure.
Yeah, he was forced to resign.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Huh.
And then moving forward in this timeline, we'll jump to 2014. So all of this has happened. We're up until 2010 right now. Fast forward to January 15th, 2014. A series of intimate messages were supposedly sent by a Pakistani journalist named Meher Tara to Tharoor.
What?
Yeah. Tan, tan, tan.
Tara to Tharoor?
Tan, tan, tan.
Tara to Tharoor.
Yes.
Wow. So what did that?
And there were and these were
What is the name? What is the name?
Meher Tara.
Meher Thara.
Tara, like
because
a
Mr.
star.
Tharoor had found his next hot thing.
Oh no.
Yes.
Mans was moving
They-
fast.
No, well, it was already 7 years since he was wedded to
Yeah.
her. So round about the 7 year itch, that's what they say, that he was popular
my
as a man. Yeah,
God.
it's like
Ew.
every 7 years the guy changed his
Oh,
woman,
that's
so to speak.
disgusting.
What?
So, yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was his third marriage, and it was the third marriage even for Sunanda Pushkar.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
So those messages were eventually posted on his Twitter, where she proclaimed her love for him. Tara tried to downplay the incident by stating that her account was quote unquote hacked.
Possibly. You know?
Yeah. And which later Sunanda stated was not hacked. So these were very, very genuine messages. And she, for some reason, we also found out that Pushkar had accused Meher of being an ISI agent. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then immediately, one day after this, the couple released a joint statement stating that they were happily married, and these personal comments were not intended for publication and have been misinterpreted.
Possible. Quite
Yes.
possible. I totally agree
Yes.
with you.
While this is all happening, Sunanda Tharoor was hospitalized for lupus, which was a deadly disorder which damages healthy tissues. So all of this is happening, and keep in mind of the date. This is on January 15th, 2014. On January 17th, 2014, 2 days after this Twitter controversy, Pushkar is found dead in her room, in room number 345 in the Leela Palace Hotel in Chanakyapuri, New Delhi.
Wow.
What? What?
Mm-hmm.
This is mind-boggling stuff. And weirdly enough, Shashi Tharoor was the first person to discover the body when she didn't wake up from her sleep, and he called Delhi police. He was the first person on the scene of the crime. And after the police came and reports were made, the initial claim to her death was suicide, but later reports says that the cause was unnatural. A preliminary autopsy revealed that she had many injurious marks on her body, around 12 to 15 of them. And the autopsy also indicated that she died of a drug overdose, which was a combination of sedatives and other strong medicines and possibly alcohol.
Yeah.
So that's quite a deadly mix they had going on there.
And a painkiller also, which was
Yes.
basically Excedrin that she had in her system.
Yes. Eventually, doctors at the KIMS hospital in
Thiruvananthapuram.
there, they examined her a few days earlier, and they said that she didn't have any serious health issues. However, she had hinted about her death in a Twitter reply hours before her body was recovered from the hotel.
Wow.
This is suspicious. So eventually, fast forward to about a year later, a few months, on January 6th in 2015, Delhi police reported that Sunanda was murdered, and they filed an FIR in this regard. Pushkar's domestic help was alleged that Pushkar had often...
Wait. Let's not go too far.
Okay.
So let's not get too far ahead. Now we're going through all the timeline of the
Yes.
events. No, we're going to break it down right now. We're getting questions and comments
Ooh,
on
yes.
Facebook, जहाँ पे बोल रहे हैं कि that ISI angle, was ISI involved? Could they have been involved?
Could they? I mean, she was already accusing her of being an
Well,
agent.
yeah, think about it. That could be one angle, right, Banjan,
Yeah.
where she might have come across some, confidential information that she would have got from, because Shashi Tharoor was, after all, the Minister of External Affairs. If you guys remember, he was,
External affairs.
and he was, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we see
No.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of affairs.
yeah.
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 Mhm.
So, and aside
He was
from,
sleeping with the enemy.
yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So aside from that, he was also, Minister of Human Resource Development for the longest time. When he was in office, this was around about कब था when 2012 to 2014
Congress time when Congress was on.
कांग्रेस टाइम हाँ 2014 तक क्योंकि इसका डेथ कब 2015 ना क्या
2014 Jan 17th. वहाँ पे देखो येलो में रखा ना.
Jan 17th.
कितना मस्त graphics आ रहा है वहाँ पे.
2014 Jan 17 को उसका डेथ हुआ. ये तब मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट फॉर ह्यूमन रिसोर्स डेवलपमेंट था. उससे पहले ये बंदा 2010 अप्रैल तक he was when he got caught in the controversy, the rendezvous controversy.
Yes.
During that period, which is from 2009 to 2010, Bugger couldn't hold on to a portfolio purely because of the
Who bugger?
This bugger.
this oaf. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Mr. Tharoor. And all due apologies to you for using your own language against you, but
Yes.
yeah, you know, he couldn't. Why was it that you were not assigned a portfolio for longer than a year as a Minister of External Affairs, Minister of State for External Affairs? वो कैसे हो गया? And then, you know, I think that he did have significant pull and leeway. Don't you think? कि जब इस केस का death हुआ कि you know, we had this situation. So, if as Minister of वो External Affairs Ministry में जब उनका ये था, could it be possible that there was confidential
Could
state
be.
secret kind of information that he came across, or that Sunanda came across, and why would she call somebody an ISI spy out on Twitter?
Yeah,
Oh,
if you're
yeah.
wondering who Meher Tara is, you can see right there. We have the photograph of Meher Tara and Shashi Tharoor there, who came in after the marriage of Sunanda and Shashi Tharoor.
Right.
And now we're discussing the possibility of the ISI's involvement, because somebody, one of our bandhus actually said, what do you think about this?
Was ISI involved? It could be. You never know if there were really such hush-hush secrets, and there was some insinuation of.
And yeah, you never know. They are well known for actually setting up honey traps.
Exactly. Exactly. An Indian minister set up with a honey trap by the ISI.
Yeah,
It seems.
It may
odd
not
to-
even be an ISI. It could be a raw case.
it could raw case.
Yeah.
It's pretty ripe, I suppose, right now.
Hey, abe.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Raw could have eliminated that, right?
They could have eliminated.
Because
Yes,
they
you
did
never
not
know.
want that information, or they did not
Or-
want. ISI did not want the news about her being a honey trap out.
Oh.
They didn't want that getting out.
Yeah, you never know.
That
It's
they
sticky.
had a buy-in. You know, they had a way in through a person like Tharoor.
It's a sticky situation.
Yes, exactly. So it could be that. Who knows, right? So hence the suspicious case of Sunanda Pushkar, the suspicious death of Sunanda Pushkar. Unfortunately, she was found. Nobody has. Okay. Anyway, let's move on.
Hey, we'll before we go to the next step of what happened. It's an 8-year ordeal actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't say ordeal. It's 8 year तक खींचा गया case को.
Yeah.
But उससे पहले the situation of the death itself, right? It's pretty interesting. You gave some graphic description about it.
Yeah.
That was it suicide?
So if you look at the cause of her death, if you look it up, it says suicide or drug overdose.
Oh, it says drug overdose in
Drug
in the
overdose.
autopsy.
Right.
So there was autopsy done in this case.
Yes.
But surprising thing was the person who found the body first was Shashi Tharoor. And he was the person who called the cops on. Nobody else is involved.
Nope.
Wow.
He has no alibi too, like she mentioned. There he has nothing to say for himself that I was there.
And it's very curious. Just was it 3 weeks or a month before they had moved into the Leela Hotel
Yeah.
at in Delhi, and why they said that because there was stuff going on in
House
the
renovations.
house renovations going on, and it wasn't you know it wasn't any kind of a discord between the husband and wife.
No.
But news came out later that Shashi Tharoor was often absent and he wasn't there in the relationship.
Wow.
And a lot of their conversations, they used to end up fighting most of the time,
Yeah.
according to the domestic
The
help,
help.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, so the domestic help said बहुत झगड़ा होता था, and it is reported. This is anecdotal,
Yes.
right?
Reported.
हाँ, reported. यहाँ पे just 3 days before her death, is it? When was it?
When she states,
Huh?
what did you say?
When they found out, Sunanda Pushkar, threatened Shashi
Yes,
Tharoor on the
yes.
phone. This is just 1 day or 2 days before her death.
2
This-
days.
2 days before her
Supposedly.
death. No. This well, yeah.
Come on,
this-
we have to give him a little bit of They seem to be such happy couple. Look at all the photographs, all the public appearances. So happy they are.
Looks are deceiving.
What?
Looks can be deceiving.
What are you talking about? Seriously? That's such a happy face couple there, right there.
So that doesn't
So
mean
whatever
anything.
the person is saying is just hearsay, right? Supposedly, they were having
But
argument,
if
correct?
you think about it, like the timeline and everything just doesn't. It seems too fishy. You
Well,
know?
let's go. The mysteries, we got to show them more mystery, right?
Right.
Why do we find it mysterious? Now, Fatwani said that because somebody's statement made it mysterious, right? Because their statement says they were fighting, but in reality, it didn't seem like they were fighting.
No. They were fighting because she had that open spat with that lady on Twitter with Meher Tara.
Tara.
She said that Meher Tara said somebody hacked into her account, and Sunanda Pushkar said, no, nobody hacked into your account. You are having this rip-roaring affair with my husband. And it is now out in the open, and she was livid because apparently, she threatened Tharoor saying that she is going to disclose
Yeah.
a lot of the sensitive information.
She will disclose everything, and as such, he would be
Finished.
Wow. And
What
this is
a
actually a
quote.
statement done by somebody?
by her.
No, who heard this?
Oh, who heard this? We don't know, but this was a statement that was said by her in one of their
Yeah, but who said it?
I think
Somebody
the
overheard it.
servant overheard it,
probably had to
and
be
she
the
has
domestic.
she also during her lashing out period against Shashi Tharoor, she had alluded to the fact that she knew things that the world did not know.
And that could actually get him into trouble.
That could, that she would, she would.
Hey, that's to me motive enough already. I think here's what I want to say here. Probably when he was asked the police station to provide a report, they generally have to give a statement, right? Shashi Tharoor's statement have been in English. the police officer could not actually read what was the header. He said, "Oh, ha, theek hai sir, chalo jao."
Yeah. This is
But
absolutely
why was there?
preposterous.
But why was there anticipatory bail? Is what you should think about.
Yeah.
People will take anticipatory bail only when they know they are at fault.
That they could be arrested, so they apply for something called anticipatory bail. Yeah. So Mr. Tharoor applied for anticipatory bail, and he was released. He was granted anticipatory bail. Can you believe that?
Forget granting. Do you know what actually happened?
What?
So the FIR was registered. You know when?
It was January 6th, 2015.
So basically, on Jan 17th, the death occurred, right? FIR was filed, right? Registered in Delhi police on Jan 1st of 2015. A delay of 11 months.
What?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Why did it take so long?
I don't know. That's the fact. It's
They
coming
were
up.
investigating.
They were investigating,
Quote
suppose.
unquote.
Quote unquote. Yeah.
In the Delhi police registered this case on charges only on Jan 1st. And why would we delay? Because that time still the government was Congress government.
Dang.
Dang, see what was happening, my goodness.
That sucks.
Really suspicious what's
Whoa.
happening there. Really, really suspicious.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm surprised, we're like, this kind of a situation.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's still roaming free.
So here's another thing that happened, right? So, when she was found dead, okay, there was, did they do a autopsy at that particular point in time in Delhi or at AIMS?
They did it in Ames, yes.
Yes. So, what did the autopsy reveal?
So the autopsy revealed that she had substances in her body which alluded towards a drug overdose. However, the autopsy that was presented was claimed to be rushed.
Okay.
So technically there was no autopsy, is what you're saying, right?
It was a one of the doctors from Ames, I can't remember his name.
Mishra, Dr. Mishra or Dr. Gupta?
Dr. Gupta.
Oh.
He later on stated that the autopsy report that he conducted on Sunanda Tharoor was rushed and it didn't have correct information.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when the autopsy was conducted, they found in her body, they found several traces of, it's not normal. So they had
Yeah.
alcohol in her system. They also had Excedrin. They also had this medication that was an
Yeah.
overdose of the medication. And they had an overdose of sleep medicine and overdose of pain medicine. So it literally is like nobody would, unless it was an intentional act to end her life
Yeah.
or do something to that effect, nobody would have actually gone to the extent. So either it has to be such she committed suicide. That's
Yeah.
one. Second is that somebody has force fed her the drugs,
Yeah.
or has mixed the drugs into her system.
Yeah.
So that was what, and it's definitely not an accident.
Nope.
Okay, so what Dr. Gupta had that time said was that this wasn't a drug overdose. She did not die of natural causes.
Yeah.
That they ruled out. ये natural causes बिल्कुल नहीं है, ये unnatural death है. And that she has all these things in her system. So now, what they were pressured. They wanted to rule out. They wanted to do a full detailed toxicology report, which takes time.
Yeah.
But they were pressured, it seems, to release it right away.
Uh-huh.
So because they were pressured to release it right away, this Dr. Gupta came out later and said that we released the report. And then he said, but he resigned from his position or something like that. And he said that he did not like the fact that there was so much, and the pressure came from the minister.
Wow.
Yeah. What
And
is
the
that?
somewhere was it still in 2014?
It was in 2014, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
No wonder the delay of even the filing the FIR charges.
Huh?
No wonder the delay was there even filing
Yes.
the FIR charges.
Yes. So this guy apparently, when he came out and he issued, we actually have photographic evidence of the letter that he wrote and he gave. He said, कहाँ है आपके पास है?
जी आपको भेजती हूँ.
हाँ, तो we're gonna show that to you, Manjan, where he came out and he said, so here is a more detailed timeline, right? On January 19th, the doctors who conducted the क्या कहते हैं the
Autopsy.
why is my system keeping on? Yeah, January 19th, who conducted the post-mortem जो कहते हैं body पे at AIMS, said that it appeared to be a case of sudden unnatural death and mentioned more than a dozen injury marks on her hands and an abrasion on her cheek, suggesting the use of a blunt force besides a deep teeth bite
Wow.
on the edge of her left palm.
Who was biting?
On the edge of her left palm. Although nominal traces of the anti-anxiety drug called alprazolam were found, there were no findings suggestive of a drug overdose. So they did say that she had injury on her body and she had a bite mark, teeth marks on her body. This is the original post-mortem, the people who did the post-mortem.
Oh my god.
And on January 20th, 2014, Pushkar's doctors in Kerala who had treated her days before her death said that she had not been diagnosed with any kind of a life-threatening disease that could have possibly caused her death. Okay. January 21st, this is called a subdivisional magistrate. Now here is where the pressure comes, okay. A subdivisional magistrate who was heading the inquest proceedings, as the marriage was less than 7 years old, said that Sunanda died of poisoning. This, the SDM in his report had said Sunanda could have died in just 3 ways, okay, because this was unnatural. He said it has to be homicidal, it has to be suicidal, or it has to be accidental. And that the police should investigate this matter further to ascertain the reason for her death. Now, what happens at this point is they shifted the focus from her bodily injuries that were there to the drug overdose.
Smart.
Okay, they changed the whole this thing, and they said this could be one of these three things.
So, by the way, this is all taking place over a period of time.
This is no, in a span of 3-4 days. 17 she died. ये 20th तक ये SDM inquest बैठ गया. ठीक है? Then January 23rd, 2014 को the investigator said prima facie Pushkar died of quote hidden poisoning unquote. Okay, traces of two medicines, alprazolam and Excedrin, had been found in her body. Now is when the alprazolam and Excedrin, it has been forced into the findings. Because before they said, although there were traces, they did not believe that the drugs caused her death. Okay. And then they say it was alprazolam is an antidepressant and Excedrin is a painkiller, and a combination of acetaminophen and aspirin and caffeine, okay, was what was present in her system. Viscera samples were preserved after the autopsy at AIIMS and sent to CFSL for further tests apparently. On the same day, the probe into Pushkar's death is transferred to Delhi police. Okay. However, 2 days later, the case was transferred back it was transferred to Delhi Police Crime Branch, but then it seems 2 days later it got transferred back to just the regular Delhi Police, not Crime Branch.
Oh.
Yeah. And on July 2nd, 2014, Dr. Sudhir Gupta from AIIMS, the guy who had headed the panel that conducted, so the SDM inquest, right, जो subdivisional magistrate का inquiry suddenly बिठाया गया, all of a sudden, okay. His panel, apparently, the head of that panel, is a panel of 3 doctors who do who release the report. He came out and claimed that he was being pressurized to manipulate the autopsy report.
Wow.
That he was, the original autopsy report did not mention drug overdose.
Oh, that.
Remember that. Original autopsy report talked about injuries, physical injuries and marks and bite marks and all that. He said he filed an affidavit with the Central Administrative Tribunal alleging that he was pressured to, quote, cover up the matter, unquote, and give a tailor-made report.
Oh.
He actually came out and said this. And in his report, he said she had 15 injury marks in her body, most of which did not contribute to death, but there were 2 injury marks, an injection mark and some bite marks. Okay. The report also said there was presence of excess amount of alprazolam drug in her stomach.
Who was biting her? What the?
So there was an injection mark which is not mentioned anywhere else. Anywhere else. And the injection, and then there was an excessive amount of the anti-anxiety drug in her belly.
Oh.
Okay. Now, in September 2014, now nobody is actually, I don't know how much they looked into this report or not. AIIMS doctors submitted a viscera report to Delhi police. October 10th, a fresh forensic report on the case was submitted to AIIMS by Delhi police on September 30th, which the police called inconclusive. Okay? This is a new forensic report. Then November 9th, 2014, senior BJP leader Subramaniam Swamy indicated that he will file a PIL. I don't know what PIL is. What is PIL?
Let's see.
Demanding a court-monitored probe into the mysterious death of Sunanda Pushkar.
Public interest litigation.
Yeah, a public interest litigation because things were being hushed up. Right? Because at that time still Congress was in power, right? It was Manmohan Singh who was in Prime Minister at that time. Then Delhi Police Commissioner B.S. Basi and Pushkar said that Pushkar did not commit suicide but was actually murdered, and he released this 1 year almost after her death, January 16, 2015 May.
Oh.
That she was murdered. Delhi police then registered a murder case against some unknown people in the case. Okay. February 2015, Pushkar's viscera samples are sent to the FBI lab in Washington for examination and identification of the poison that killed her. Okay, February 2015. Now wait. The next crucial thing in the timeline, Altu Baba, November 2015. February se November tak. November 2015, Delhi police received Pushkar's viscera report from FBI. Report says radiation in Pushkar's viscera samples was within permissible levels and did not cause her death.
Oh.
Yeah. So they're saying that did not cause her death, okay? November 2015, Delhi police asked journalist Nalini Singh, who was one of the last people to speak to Pushkar, to help with the investigation. Pushkar had reportedly asked Singh to help her retrieve some BBM messages between her husband and Meher Tara.
There you go.
She was the last person to speak. So there was actual proof that she had still not bought the story and she wanted proof.
Yeah.
Okay. And then February 2016, a special investigative team of Delhi police questioned Shashi Tharoor. The Congress leader reiterated that Pushkar died due to a drug overdose. So they've made it seem like a drug overdose case, whereas she was actually hurt and she was, it could be. Think about it. Okay. March 2016, Meher Tara comes to Delhi, meets a senior officer and denies any knowledge of Pushkar's murder. Okay.
Okay.
And July 6, 2017, एक साल गुजर गया, okay? एक साल. And BJP leader Subramanian Swamy moved the Delhi High Court seeking a court-monitored probe by the CBI-led Special Investigative Team into the death of Pushkar. Swamy alleged that the inordinate delay, now this is 2017, Ranjan, 3 years have gone by, has been caused in the investigation, which is a blot on the justice system.
Yeah.
Okay? October 26, 2017, Delhi High Court dismisses Subramanian Swamy's appeal. Okay, this is Delhi High Court. Okay, and they say, अरे यार मेरा पूरा refresh हो गया.
No, we had such a good time.
I know.
Boo.
Okay, so in which case, Delhi High Court actually said that there is no merit to what Subramaniam Swamy is asking, right? And they said, terming his what is a public interest litigation as a textbook example of political interest litigation. That there is no merit to his request. Then in January 29th, now this is 1 year later, okay, not 1 year, 4-5 months later, क्योंकि ये October में हुआ, Delhi High Court dismissed his claim. Subramaniam Swamy then moved the Supreme Court seeking an SIT probe and alleged that it took nearly 1 year for Delhi police to lodge an FIR in the case and that the postmortem report had actually said that she had died an unnatural death. Why did they not file an FIR right away?
Yeah.
Okay. And he says, however, the Supreme Court asked him to satisfy on the aspect of maintainability of his plea. So, in February, the Apex Court sought the response of the Delhi police on the plea. And April 20th, the Special Investigative Team, 2018 this is, the Special Investigative Team told the Supreme Court that a death, basically a draft final report had been prepared after conducting, quote, thorough professional and scientific investigation, unquote, in this particular case, and it would be filed in the concerned trial court after being vetted. Okay, this is classic bureaucratic delays. Okay, purposely they're delaying the matter. And May 15, 2018, Delhi police charged Congress MP. How many years? 4 years after she died, they charged him, Shashi Tharoor, with abetting the suicide of his wife, Sunanda Pushkar. Even then, they didn't charge him with murder.
No, they didn't.
Nope.
And who was found in the Delhi hotel in 2014. In a 3,000-page charge sheet, the police also accused Tharoor of subjecting Pushkar to cruelty and sought to summon him to court. June 5th, 2018, Delhi court takes a cognizance of the charge sheet filed by Delhi police, summons Congress MP from Thiruvananthapuram, Shashi Tharoor, on July 7th. So basically, May 15th se June 5th tak, the court did not even summon Shashi Tharoor.
Bruh.
Yeah. What happened afterwards? Now, what we want to bring to light here, Banjan, is the fact that ये जो drug case बनाया गया, it looked like it was an afterthought. Like they made it an after. It was because if there are physical injury marks on her body,
Bite marks. Something like
and there were bite marks on her body, and there was an injection mark on her body, and there was an, if it's injected into her system, obviously it's going to end up in her stomach. So there was an abnormal amount of that anti-anxiety drug alprazolam, right?
Yeah.
If that was in her stomach, then why was that not investigated?
Yeah.
And here is the kicker, Banujan.
Oh.
Okay, here is the kicker.
Okay.
Should we give out the climax, Altaba? We're almost
Sure,
at the
sure.
close of
Yes,
the show,
yes,
right?
yes, we are.
So, 2018 mein ye hua, but he had already sought anticipatory bail.
Oh.
Yes, he had sought anticipatory bail, which was granted.
Oh.
It was granted to Mr. Tharoor. Okay, and what happens? Delhi court, a judge from Geetanjali Goel, in 2021, dismissed the case and said Shashi Tharoor has been acquitted of all charges. Because according to Shashi Tharoor's lawyer, Mr. Pahwa, Ajit Pahwa, who was his lawyer, he said that the prosecution relied on that SIT probe wala jo autopsy report tha na, that it was either a suicide or it was murder. His defense said you could not prove beyond reasonable doubt that it was either.
Oh.
That it was suicide, you could not prove. So if you cannot prove that it was suicide, then there is no abetment to suicide.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was dismissed without prejudice. Basically, that's saying that he is free to go. He has nothing to do with the case.
Scot-free.
Scot-free. And nobody till today has been able to determine how she died of unnatural causes. Think about the amount of power in play here, right?
It's such an obvious.
And this is a woman who was an entrepreneur, who was like, whatever be the reason. She could be the, whatever, the witch from whatever, I don't know, what place, man? What
Salem witch trials?
Salem witch trials. Could be one of those kind of witches, but still, divorce is always an option. Why murder?
And he's gotten a divorce in the past.
Hey, you guys are missing the point. It's not a question of divorce. It's like, it was his career on the line. Probably he had done something more thing where he would have given probably sold, the India secrets.
Considering he was an external affairs minister,
Yep.
it has to his career was on the line for some
I'm
way.
sure.
And the fact that she stated, she's like, I know something that you could be finished.
Yeah.
She definitely knew something, and he had to get her out of the way.
So, well, the point is over here, the reason we actually talked about today's show is because, see, the thing is, it is mysterious. I'm sorry. Just because the case is being closed, it was closed due to technicality. And anybody who watches any kind of a criminal show will know technicality means that actually there's going to be injustice there. Right?
Yeah.
So, was there, injustice done to Sunanda? I don't know. But the point is being hushed up, right?
Yep.
And the power play. Power play is what Faltani just talked about, right?
Yep.
Imagine how much of power play has gone into this one, right?
Yep.
To hush things up. So we
Yeah.
don't know many of these things. But the fact is, it is mysterious. As long as we keep an eye on all these things. Our job is to make sure we can bring up those mysteries. You go Google, do hashtag, do what you want with us. For us, we have to show you the mystery and why we think it's a mystery and why. In fact, if you see, the murder was a mystery, of course, but what is more mysterious is what happened afterwards. The timeline itself, starting 2014, 2015, 3 years gap, and then again 2018, 2021.
And the man had anticipatory bail by the time he was summoned before the court.
There you go.
What on earth is that about? He was granted anticipatory bail in July and he was summoned before court in July.
Why do you need to take it?
Yep.
That's because he knew that he's going to probably
Yeah.
going to have to face charges, and it was premeditated because they made it a drug case. They built a case.
Okay, hold on. It was premeditated because the fact that they moved out of the house
Yeah,
into a
In a
public place,
hotel.
Leela, to
Yeah.
a 5-star hotel where nobody
Yeah.
can stay. They can't. They have to move. They got to clear the evidence and everything, right?
Yeah.
Because hotels you can't keep it for such a long time because it's a
No.
business place, right? The place
Yeah.
where home they can lock up
No,
the
but
home.
it said somewhere, I can't remember where, it said that specific room was locked up with like.
Sure, but
tape.
you can't keep forever, right? You can't keep it
was
forever.
Yeah, it was locked up for 1 year, and then they opened it up
It has
again
got to be a residence.
re-examine the scene and what had happened. But then eventually, obviously now.
And also you should understand that when they lock it up, somebody's got to pay for it.
Right.
The either the plaintiff or somebody else is paying for it, or the government is paying for it because it's been
Yeah.
a high-profile case, right? So that's the mystery which you're talking about today, Bananjan. Of course, are there any other things you missed out or points you want to share with our bandhus?
No, we just want. What do you mean? For us
Did we
to
catch
share?
on? Did we catch on everything?
I think we got pretty much most of it,
We
but
covered the entire timeline.
but and you know somebody had a question as to who knew that he would be finished. That was in front of a domestic help.
yes.
And what is the motivation for a domestic help to come out and share this information?
Job security.
What do you mean? How job security?
That's exactly what I'm telling you. Kataksh Kavita. Kataksh.
क्या कुछ भी
Kataksh.
my
Job
God.
security.
कटाक्ष कहाँ से आया आलतू बाबा?
Yeah, house paid job security is Kataksh, right? Anyway, it's fine.
Okay.
That's okay. That's
then.
fine. That's okay. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
So, Fadwani, are we like wrapping up this particular mystery session for our bandhus?
Yes, आलतू बाबा.
Yeah.
All right, Ranjan. So we're going to be wrapping up right now. We'll see you tomorrow with our teaser takedown Tuesday for sure.
That's right.
तब तक के लिए हमारी तरफ से आप सभी लोगों को एक प्यार भरा
Good night.
Shabba
Shabba khair and a प्यार
प्यार
भरा.
Mwah.
Radio D Hotties, powered by Mahima Creations.
Hi guys, this is Shraddha and you're listening to Radio D Hottie where the entertainment gets hotter.